Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to draw alkenes and how to name alkenes. So we pretty much follow the same rule as we did for the previous worksheet for alkanes. Really the only difference this time around is that we have a double bond in our chain. So our suffix now is going to be ene instead of ane. One other thing that we have to do is we have to tell where the double bond is located, on which carbon can we find this double bond on. So if we look at the first example that I've done, 2-methyl 3-pentene. So pent, that tells me 5, so if I count, there should be 5 carbon in my chain. ene tells me there's a double bond somewhere in that chain. If I look at the number before pentene, it's 3. So that tells me that my double bond is after carbon 3. So 1, 2, 3. There's my double bond. And then I have 2-methyl. So on my second carbon, there should be a CH3. The condensed formula works the same way, but I have to draw my double bond in. And then molecular formula, we're still doing the same thing. You're just adding them all up. Alright, on the second row, let's mark our chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like 5 is our longest chain. With alkenes and alkynes are triple bonds, the double bond or the triple bond has to be part of a chain. A double bond and a triple bond cannot be part of a branch. So this is going to be my chain. This is a branch. This is a branch. Looking at my prefixes, this branch has 1 carbon in it. Branches end in YL. So this one is called methyl. Same thing here, CH3. This one's going to be called methyl. I have 2 methyls. So instead of saying methyl, I'm going to call it dimethyl. Di is in 2. I have to tell where my methyls are located. So carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3. So I have a methyl on carbon 2, and I have a methyl on carbon 3. So that's where I'm going to start for my name. We put commas in between numbers, dashes in between numbers and letters. So 2, comma, 3, dash, dimethyl. So that takes care of all my branches. Now my chain. I have a chain of 5. It ends in ene, and that's easy. But I have to tell where my double bond is. It's on carbon 2. So dash between numbers and letters, 2. The prefix for 5 is pent. The suffix for double bonds is ene. So pentene. 2, 3, dimethyl 2-pentene. So now our condensed formula. Our first carbon contains 3 hydrogen. Our second carbon doesn't have any hydrogen, but has a branch of CH3. Then we have a double bond. We have a third carbon with a branch of CH3. Our fourth carbon is CH2, and our last carbon, CH3. So now we need to do our molecular formula, so we just add them all up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C7, H14. So you'll do all of these the same way. You have to tell me where the double bond is, just like you have to tell me where the branches are. Alright, let's do one example of an alkyne. So alkynes, they end in YNE. They're triple bonds. So prefixes are still the same. Alkynes, they end in YNE. Branches are still the same, they end in YL. So the example, 2-pentine. 2 tells me where my triple bond is. Pent tells me there's 5 carbon in the chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the second carbon, I should have a triple bond. On this carbon, there's 3 bonds here and 1 there. So it doesn't need any hydrogen. The same thing for this carbon. There are 3 bonds here and a 4th one there, so it doesn't need any hydrogen. So that's why you see this without hydrogen on it. So let's look at the second row. Here's our triple bond. It has to be part of the chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So any of these twists and turns would make a chain of 4 carbons. So we're just going to keep it simple. That's my chain. That's a branch. That's a branch. So now we need to name it. The top branch only has 1 carbon, and the prefix for 1 is meth. It's a branch. It ends in YL, so methyl. The one on the bottom, the same thing. It's 1 carbon. That's meth. It's a branch. It ends in YL. We need to tell where these branches are located. And we also have to tell where our triple bond is located. I could count from the left, so they're both on carbon 2, and the triple bond's on carbon 3. Or I could count from the right and say my triple bond is on carbon 1, and my methyls are on carbon 3. And that's actually the better way to go. We want our double bond to have the lowest number possible. So I'm going to say my triple bond. My triple bond's on carbon 1, and my methyls are on carbon 3. I have 2 methyls, so even though they're on the same carbon, I have to list it twice. So remember, commas in between numbers, 3, 3, because I have 2 methyls on carbon 3. Dash, dimethyl, so that takes care of my 2 branches. Now my triple bond is on carbon 1, dashes between numbers and letters, and now name the chain. There's 4 carbons total, so that's bute. It has a triple bond. It ends in YNE. 3,3 dimethyl 1 butene. So now my condensed formula. I have 1 carbon with 3 hydrogens. I have a carbon with no hydrogen, the methyl branch on top, methyl branch on bottom. My third carbon has no hydrogen. It has a triple bond. Fourth carbon has 1 hydrogen. Alright, so that's condensed. Now molecular. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. C6H10. So that's all you need for alkenes and alkynes.